What's up guys, and Malcolm. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with an update from Good Vito. The one wildcard that had to miss this mighty Pittsburgh crew because of that minor last year. And considering that Martin Fitzwater, he came in very off, especially at the prejudging. And Derek Lunsford, he did not look as good as he did at the Arnold this year. Good Vito is that guy who could have rattled them up. First of all because of his size and the kind of stage presence that he has. And on top of that, we have seen him in a crazy top-notch conditioning. And more than once in the past. And the fact that he was dieting since the Arnold Brazil, he probably would have been in a bad condition at this year's Pittsburgh Pro. Now happy to see him back in the gym just 3 weeks after that tear. And Good Vito himself, he said that it wasn't a major tear, but still it was quite visible. Especially at the time it happened. So that, along with that increased inflammation, that made it kind of impossible for Good Vito to step on the Pittsburgh Pro stage. Nevertheless, the Olympia debut, that is what really matters. And the man is 100% confident that he's gonna be there at the Olympia this year. So last year, Martin shocked us all by placing top 4 in the world at his Olympia debut. And Vito has still got plenty of time till the Olympia this year. He can have another mini off-season before he has to start the prep for his Olympia debut, which is happening in October. And that is plenty of time to add more depth and more density in those side shots and in his arms, because those are the ones where Vito can be vulnerable, especially against the top guys. So Good Vito at the Arnold Brazil this year, that was good enough to win that show and qualify for the Olympia. But he has a lot more to offer to the world of bodybuilding. So him and Martin, they are two of the youngest guys in the men's open right now. So where do you guys see Vito placing at his Olympia debut this year? Well, in my opinion, he is surely gonna be in the top 10. But do let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have the off-season physique update from Brandao. So Brandao was there at the Pittsburgh Pro this year, and although he did not step on the stage for the guest posing, but he had a chance to pose for the Manians and get some good feedback to work on for the rest of the year before he has to start the prep for the Olympia this year. So as most of you guys know, that Brandao was able to qualify for the Olympia this year by winning Romania Pro last year, which was one of the earliest shows to qualify for the Olympia this year. And that did give him plenty of time, a huge edge, to utilize the entire year to get bigger, to put on more muscle and be bigger than ever, up until he was diagnosed with some kind of stomach problem and he had to back off, especially in terms of the protein intake. And he had to back off for a few months and drop his weight down. But at the moment it kind of seems like the man has bounced back super fast and he's looking very big, full as a house. So the off-season, that is fully underway for Brandao right now. And that, I must say, is a very good look for the off-season. So the judges, especially Tyler Mannion, he really likes Brandao's physique. And as per him, he's one of the only few guys out there with no weak shots whatsoever. So only a few bodybuilders, they are so complete to get this kind of compliment. So Rafael is weak in only one area, and that we all know is the size department. He just needs more muscle and more mass. But the question now is that, are 4 months enough time for someone like Brandao to put on considerable amount of size? Well, based on his track record, I have got to say no, not a chance. Him and Regan Grimes, they are very slow, especially when it comes to putting on more muscle. And we have seen that year after year. So the biggest jump that Brandao made in his overall physique, that was when he took that 1 year off back in 2023 and he came back to the Arnold, Ohio last year. And he looked phenomenal, easily his best ever, especially when he got the chance to stand next to Samson Dauda and Hadi Choopan. Now all that being said, Brandao is a top 10 Olympian nonetheless, but the fact is, he wants to get into that top 6. So with a guy like the Mutant coming back to the Olympia stage, and that too at his all-time best, what do you guys think? Can Brandao crack top 6? So let's take a look at Kayak Pro and his pro debut in classic physique, the superstar from Brazil, who is also known as Carlos de Oliveira. So he had a lot of hype going into this year's Pittsburgh Pro, and based on the expectations from all of us and the fans, I must say he massively underperformed. And that was also reflected on the placings that he got at his classic physique pro debut in Pittsburgh. Now the thing is, he was looking so mind-blowing while prepping for this show. So ripped, such amazing muscle quality. And the fact is, he was 4th or 5th at the prejudging of the Pittsburgh Pro. And even that wasn't good enough, because most of us were thinking that he's gonna be 3rd. But at the end, somehow he ended up in 7th place. So was this placing a big reason to change up his coach and hire Neil Hill for the future? Well, maybe not. And I must say our concerns, they were genuine. Carlos had some of the most incredible body parts, especially when we look at them individually. I mean, the arms, the chest, the delts, the abs, they were superb. But his quads, they simply weren't big enough. And that made him lose a lot of ground, especially in those front shots. And that is kind of understandable, since he's the one who was coming over from the men's physique division into the classic physique. And this was his first show, and he performed really well. But the expectations, especially set by us, the fans, that makes the outcome look very disappointing. So his look on the stage after dropping the water versus his pumped up gym look, that perfectly describes that sometimes it is so impossible to duplicate that gym look onto the stage. And that is something many of the pros, they never achieve throughout their careers. But that being said, it is a good start by Carlos. I mean, look at Logan Franklin and how he did in his first classic show after switching over from the men's physique, and how he was able to transform tremendously over the years. So I must say, give Carlos some more time to gain some more experience in classic, and he can be very dangerous. Next up, we have an update of 3 times Portugal Pro champion, Andre Presti. So this guy always stays so lean in every phase of the year, even in the off-season. He looks so conditioned, and Presti is not gonna make that same mistake again as he did last year, because he committed to multiple shows in that post-Olympia tour, and that was trying to come into full at the expense of a bit of conditioning, and that was to bring up his legs to a certain extent. Now, despite being underdeveloped in the lower body, Presti was able to perform so well based on his high level of conditioning in all the shows that he did before the Olympia. He came in super ripped, and that is the main thing that was missing in shows like Prague and the Big Man Weekend, and that is why he paid the price. Now Presti's upper body and his width, that is so insane that when he is truly on, even standing next to guys like Hunter and Samson Dauda in all the shows that he did before the Olympia, if we go just by his upper body, he was looking so impressive front to back, and he has a very nice set of abs, amazing midsection, and that is why he compared so well against both these guys. And it isn't like he hasn't made any progress in terms of his lower half since his first ever Miss Olympia back in 2021. And if we compare that physique to the one that he presented last year, there is some very reasonable improvements. So Presti did hit his all-time high off-season weight this year. So I cannot wait to see him back on the stage, which is gonna be sometime in that summer window or before the Olympia this year. Behrooz, the Iranian phenomena, checks in at less than 5 weeks out of this year's Dubai Pro. Look at that back double biceps, and the fact that he has another 34 days to harden up, to fine-tune things. That is simply awesome. And I must say, the genetics of these Iranian athletes, they are so insane. And with the change in the mindset, that more training, that isn't always better. Behrooz is probably one of the very few guys in the pro circuit right now who still trains twice per day. And this is one of the major reasons why he changes so fast. So is there anyone who can realistically beat Behrooz at this upcoming Dubai Pro? Well, we all saw he won that show so comprehensively last year, beating guys like Nathan Diesha and William Bonac. And he's making his return after almost 1 year. So he will definitely be improved. So based on the timeline of all these shows that Behrooz has planned, it is kind of surprising why he isn't starting the season with the Emperor Classic Spain, which is just 1 week before Dubai Pro this year. Because looking at these 3 shows that he did last year, he got better and better as he competed more, and Dubai Pro was the best look of his career so far. Now Milos Sarcev, his coach, he speaks very highly of Behrooz, and so do all these other guys who have seen him in person. Now just like every coach, Milos also hypes up his athletes a lot. But there is no denying the fact that Behrooz, he is gonna be in the first Olympia call-out if he is allowed to travel to the US this year. But do let me know what you guys think. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.